And now we'll be moving on to cooperation with suppliers and business partners. Please welcome Przemysław Łaciński, the Deputy Director of the Procurement Department, who will start a presentation on cooperation with suppliers. My name is Przemysław Łaciński. I'm the Deputy Director in the Procurement Department, and it will be my enormous pleasure to talk about our relationships with suppliers. Thank you. In the beginning, I would like to start with thank you for incorporating the supplier day into the GAZ-SYSTEM Forum. I would like to welcome all our contractors, suppliers, and business partners, both here present in person and online. 2 days ago, there was a major event in Poland. We paralyzed Warsaw. There was Warsaw Marathon. Some people ran for 10 kilometers, some took the full distance, and I had the opportunity to observe this festivity. I saw determination, enthusiasm to fulfill their dreams, and I was scrolling through the pictures later at home, looking at the Japanese winner and a Polish runner 10 minutes behind the Poland's record, and was scrolling down, getting to a picture which was quite inspiring for me. At the time, over 4 hours, a group of friends were crossing the final line, and they were crossing the line holding their hands, and they crossed the line together. So I thought it's also something which illustrates our relations with our suppliers. The key thing is to understand your objectives, your goals. For us as the contracting entity, it is quite crucial. Also, the understanding that we see from our key suppliers, the understanding of our goals, that we want to stay within our budgets, within our schedule. This is the partnership which is the foundation of our cooperation, and we understand that when we have this mutual understanding, the contracts are implemented in the best possible way. The year 2025 is a special year for us because the value of contracts in our procurement plan, so the contracts that we have to source externally, because the value of these contracts reached nearly 4 billion Polish zlotys. So this value ranges from 2 to 5 billion zlotys, which makes us one of the largest contracting entities in Poland, and also entities that are very desirable by suppliers. And our door will always be open to those who want to work with us on a partnership basis. If we look at the structure of these contracts, definitely the bulk of it are the contracts related to our strategic investments, so FSRU, the maintenance of Baltic Pipe, the LNG terminal, also the Lwówek compression station we are in the process of developing now. But the second category, standard construction works is going to increase in importance over the coming years, because the company will need to invest into repairs, into maintenance of this growing asset base. And while the major projects are going to be completed, this will grow in importance. And we have investor supplies. This is a part that my colleague will cover in detail. This is again quite a substantial part of our procurement plan. And another fourth category is, it may be only 20 million zlotys, but given that engineering services are happening at the very outset of the investment process, this is something that we bear in mind as a very important, crucial step on the way to complete an investment process. So we attach great importance to that as well. A strong contracting entity can be only as strong as their suppliers are. So we want to be a strong party, and that's why we listen to our suppliers. So starting from RFIs, short exchanges, maybe inquiries, informal inquiries by email, to major market consultations. We've been increasingly using this instrument over the past years, and we are very glad that you are ready to talk to us without a guarantee to get the contract, to be awarded the contract. We appreciate that greatly, because we know that the knowledge is about the current market solutions, current technologies, is with you. So thank you for updating us on this. Commercial negotiations. Our approach has been changing slightly. It's not only about discount that you can offer, but often the question is what we should change in our documentation to decrease the price, to accelerate the delivery time. And that's how we see the commercial negotiations and the discussion with you. And the fourth element is framework agreements. These are some instruments and mechanisms using which we can define the framework for our relationship, and without any commitment, and then accelerate the process as we need to involve some suppliers. So we've been using increasingly this instrument, and we are now at the stage of developing such framework agreements for engineering services. Our partners understand that most of these services are contracted under the public procurement law, so this makes it a little bit longer, but we are running 2 pilot projects to facilitate that. And a final point I wanted to mention is a new public procurement regulations and the limitation of access to the European procurement market. The public procurement law was amended a month ago and is limited the access only to European suppliers or suppliers from countries with whom EU has mutual agreements, with one exception. Last year in October, tribunal, the ECJ ruled that unlimited access is limited to countries with mutual agreements and, of course, EU members. We at GAZ-System have been taking care of the Polish market and EU market for many years now. So we've been always given preference to EU suppliers. So at least 50% component has to be originate from the EU members, and we give extra scores for every percentage point of EU contribution. So we are very glad that we anticipated this development, and I would like to hand over to my colleague Sebastian Oczkowicz to cover the second section of this topic. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sebastian Oczkowicz. I'm the Deputy Director of the Procurement Division of over 5 years with GAZ-System, responsible for operating materials and investors' supply. In today's presentation, I would like to start with procurement of operational goods and their increasing role, and then I would move on to investors' supplies and FSRU, the onshore part, and finally what we expect to happen in terms of investor supplies in the coming years. As my colleague mentioned, the investor supplies are sort of framework agreements. We have a dynamic system for that as a non-public procurement regime. Then the resulting agreements are a major part of our purchases. There is significant value which is going still to increase because of the FSRU investment. So the number of suppliers exceeds 100. I would like to thank you for taking part in our procedures, that you supply materials to our warehouses for us to carry out our in-house projects. So investor supplies are mostly pipes, bands, fittings, valves, sometimes compensators, depending on the route of the pipeline. The key projects that we've completed in terms of supplies include the Rybnik CHP connection and a pipeline 1,000 diameter, DN 700 Wężerów, and also the already mentioned Lwówek compressor station, a major investment, over 200 pieces of fittings, over 60 million worth of tender contracts. So another project for over 40 million. FSRU is an enormous effort, mentioned already today several occasions. I will focus on the onshore part and the investor supply. So over 1 year ago at a meeting at Supplier Day, we mentioned some tentative schedule for the project, and already today or yesterday we completed the supplies of the pipes and fittings, and back in May and June the bands. So we started contracting process very quickly and completed it within 3 months. We were even ahead of the schedule by 1 to 3 months because of good cooperation with you, because of the partnership that we had established, as my colleague mentioned, and we built on that. And that dialogue that allowed us to optimize the terms and conditions and also to align it with your production capacity. So then the contracting process went very smoothly between May and July. And then we set up the storage yards before we contracted the contractor for construction works. So by the end of 2024, we were able to procure the first supplies of pipes and fittings. So the value is over 600 million for the pipes. Value for the bends is lower, but we know how crucial this project is in terms of quality of manufacturing, how crucial it is for the completion of the whole contract. The fittings over 80 million PLN. Also delivered ahead of time over 400 pieces, just for POM1 over 200 pieces. So it's more than for the Lwówek compressor station. So let me again use this opportunity to thank all the suppliers and your sub-suppliers, subcontractors, the manufacturers of individual components. Great thank you to you. We are going to continue the contracting according to the framework contract model and unlimited tenders, open tenders. The contract for fittings has been already tendered. We are going to keep you up to date regarding the contracts for the pipes and for the bends. The projects are at a different stage of implementation. As you can see in this slide, we have unlimited tender for Lewin Brzeski and Nysa 40-kilometer section. You can submit your bids next week. So we encourage you to that, and depending on the consents that we get from the ministry, we will carry on with subsequent stages. And also you are free to contact me in the lobby to discuss some matters of interest to you. Thank you very much, Mr. Director.